Right now in Hoosier News Source, we'll tell you more about the woman who police say is responsible for the recent hate crime against an IU student.
And an update on the trial of the Delphi case murder suspect.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Emma Herwehe.
And I'm Madisyn Renbarger. We start today's show with information on a shooting right here in Bloomington. A Smithville, Indiana man was shot by men tampering with his vehicle on Monday morning. The man was hit at least twice after he attempted to confront the suspects around 4:05 a.m. A suspect was arrested after authorities used a drone to search the area and saw the man hiding. The shooting took place on the 7,000 block of South Walnut Street in Bloomington. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office press release states that they do not know which suspects were tampering with on the vehicle. However, the shooting victim knew the men who shot at him.
We also now have more information on the two deadly shootings in California. 11 people are dead following a shooting at a Monterey Park dance studio on Sunday. 19 others were injured in the shooting that unfolded after the city's Lunar New Year festival. The mass shooting is one of the worst in modern history of Los Angeles County and the country's most deadly shooting since Uvalde, Texas. On Monday, 7 people were shot dead in an agricultural area near San Francisco. Authorities say they have not discovered a motive for either of the shootings.
Classified documents have been found in former Indiana Governor and United States Vice President Mike Pence's Carmel home. Pence's team alerted the National Archives last Wednesday that a small number of documents were inadvertently sent to the former vice president's home at the end of Trump administration. Pence's lawyer claims that Pence did not know the documents were in his personal home. He is not the first to combat these claims. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are both facing criticism for processing classified documents. Like Biden, Pence notified the archives and turned classified materials over to federal officials.
A special judge has ruled that jurors in the charge of the Delphi murders case will come from Allen County. Richard Allen is facing 2 counts of murder for Abigail Williams and Liberty German in Delphi, Indiana. Allen's defense asked Judge Francis Gold to pick jurors from an Indiana county at least 150 miles from where the murders occurred in Carroll County. Allen continues to remain in jail without bail, while a defense request hearing has been set for February 17th to allow Allen to post bail. No trial date has been set.
The suspect in a recent racially motivated attack will seek an insanity plea, according to their defense attorney. On January 11th, 56-year-old Billy Davis stabbed an 18-year-old IU student on a bus, saying she did so because the student was Asian. Davis was arrested and charged with attempted murder, aggravated battery, and battery by means of a deadly weapon. According to court records, her bond was set at $100,000, and she is scheduled to appear in court today.
A second student is throwing their hat in the ring to serve on Bloomington City Council. David Wolfbender announced his candidacy this Tuesday. An undergraduate student has never served on Bloomington City Council. If elected, Bender would represent District 6. Bender's policies support long-term investment, a focus on traffic and transit, as well as zoning and housing. Bender currently serves as IU Student Government's Director of City and Local Government Relations. In 2022, Mayor Hamilton appointed Bender to the Bloomington Parking Commission.
Despite the fact that there are more than 30,000 students in this city. So it's time for a change. It's time to get some more representation. It's time to get people our age. It's time to get Gen Z onto the city council.
The city council primary election takes place on May 6th.
Looking to purchase an animal from a pet shop in Bloomington? You may have to rethink that after Bloomington's recent ordinance banning the retail sale of dogs and cats. H&S reporter Brooklyn Lambright caught up with a local pet shop owner to discuss her thoughts on the recent ordinance.
At pet shops like Delilah's here in Bloomington, the familiar sounds of dogs barking can no longer be heard. After the Bloomington City Council passed an ordinance prohibiting the retail sale of dogs, pet shops like these are wondering where they go next.
The whole thing still is very, very surreal. You know, the babies are gone now. And it's earth-shakingly quiet.
Pet shop owners such as Henderson Miller argue that their care for animals is no less than that of a shelter or licensed breeder.
We take care of them. We feed them premium food. We house them as comfortably as possible. We love them. We let people all day long come in and stay as long as they want and just play. You don't have to buy.
The ordinance places importance on adopting from local overpopulated animal shelters.
We see this humane pet store ordinance as an opportunity for local pet stores to work with shelters and rescue groups to source animals, just like Petco and PetSmart and other stores already do.
While some pet shops sell dogs solely for profit, for Henderson Miller, the well-being of her dogs is much more important.
About the almighty dollar with us. Now, there are some that it is. I'm not gonna lie to you, there is. But for us, it's about the connection that you can have and the love that you can experience.
Morton argues these ordinances have lowered the amount of dogs bred in puppy mills. She describes puppy mills as breeders who breed dogs solely for profit without considering their well-being.
We know from the data over the last 10 years that there are 32,000 fewer dogs suffering in puppy mills across the country.
The ordinance is not meant to harm licensed dog breeders or those who wish to purchase from them.
Is not anti-breeder. We encourage people to seek out responsible breeders. If there's a particular breed of dog that they're interested in, there's likely a responsible breeder, near you. So, do your research online.
Ultimately, Henderson Miller sees the ordinance as unfair to pet shop owners who operate in the best interest of their animals.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, hope that it turns around, so we can still make people happy. That makes me feel good to know that I can make you feel good to come in.
14 counties in Indiana have passed similar ordinances banning the retail sale of animals, hoping to decrease the number of animals in shelters. In Bloomington, there's a $500 fine per violation for pet shop owners. The ordinance does not harm local animal shelters or registered breeders.
It's been chilly the past few days here, and I heard a chance of snow. Kayla Craig now joins us with what to expect for this week's weather. Kayla?
Thanks, Emma. Today, much of Indiana is expected to undergo a winter storm. Bloomington is expected to get 2 to 4 inches of snow by tonight, but that may be more in the 3 to 6 range depending on where this system moves. Wind seems to be the main concern, as gusts may be as high as 30 miles an hour, so stay safe and updated with live weather services. Let's see what to expect for our game day forecast. Our men's basketball team takes on Ohio State in Assembly Hall this Saturday. Heading to the game, you should be clear of any snow, but there's a chance of snow during the game and after the game. Let's take a look at the rest of the week. Today, we can expect a mix of rain and snow transitioning into snow overnight as we head into the weekend, all the way into next week where snow chances continue. Stay safe and have a great week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we'll show you what a month of sobriety looks like in a college town.
And how the government's TikTok ban is affecting Bloomington. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Ella Rhoades is here in studio with the latest on international news. Ella?
Thanks, guys. In the latest news on the war in Ukraine, Germany is deciding whether to send Leopard 2 tanks to support the Ukrainian army. As the war quickly approaches a year, Ukraine is seeking aid from other countries. On Friday, Germany chose not to send tanks to Ukraine ahead of a possible Russian attack. These tanks could extremely benefit the Ukrainian war effort. According to CNN, Germany has, quote, called on other countries like the U.S. to send over their own tanks. Last week, over in New Zealand, their Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced she will step down from her position. After 5 years, Ardern's leaving her role due to exhaustion, and she's not seeking re-election. The Labour Party unanimously nominated Education Minister Chip Hipkins as their new party leader. Hipkins said, quote, "I want to acknowledge the outgoing Prime Minister, my good friend Jacinda Ardern. She's been one of New Zealand's greatest Prime Ministers," end quote. And finally, over in China, people are traveling to celebrate the Lunar New Year. However, with the holiday travel, the spread of COVID follows. According to a Chinese government scientist, 8 in 10 people have been infected with COVID-19. This is the first time in 3 years there are no domestic travel restrictions within China. The 40-day-long celebration may facilitate the spread of the virus. And that's what's going on around the world. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Ella. As we start the new year, most people try to stick with their New Year's resolutions. And one healthier resolution isn't too popular among college students. Our H&S reporter Ella Rhoades looked into it.
New Year's means new resolutions, and some are finding theirs in the popular trend, Dry January.
It's a test of strength, really. You know, everyone has those New Year's resolutions, and I knew it wasn't likely for me to hit the gym every day, so I thought I would make small things, and so Dry January was the first one.
All across the internet, young adults are choosing to stay sober for the first month of the year, but what does that look like for college students where part of the culture is in binge drinking? At the IU Collegiate Recovery Community,
The trend in general is like start of the next semester, like wanting to make a major change at the beginning.
They say their numbers remain relatively low, but
taking that break, like any habit, if you do something long enough, especially for a month, right, that kind of changes your projection for the future. And so maybe in 3 months after that, they're drinking like they were prior to January, right? But the hope is that it slows it down.
So just about how many college students are participating in Dry January? Well, it was hard to find one to talk to. But even on a snowy Sunday here in Bloomington, people are still going to the bars.
And as one of the few college students who decided to take on the challenge, Megan says,
I don't feel like I'm missing out. My friends are super understanding.
According to the Washington Post, the health benefits from sobriety include weight loss, boosted energy, and better rest.
I just like the way it makes me feel. I feel like I sleep better, and it was kind of fun just to be like, can I stick with this and have like the willpower to say no, even when I do go out to the bars with my friends?
Only time will tell if this safer trend can make a lasting impact on the way people view drinking. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Ella Rhoades.
If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse issues, reach out to the Substance Abuse Intervention Services here on campus.
IU Student Government handed out free birdies at the Student Involvement Fair last week as part of an ongoing mission to make campus safer. The devices called birdies are a popular personal safety tool that can sound an alarm and flash a strobing light to deter an attacker. The idea came from realizing how spaced out the emergency blue lights are on campus, along with the number of sexual assaults that have happened in recent years. Fasciana Saluja is IU Student Government's Director of Title IX and Sexual Violence Prevention, and she said that they want students to know that they are working to make campus safer and prevent sexual violence from happening in the first place.
That's our goal. So that's the message that we're trying to give out, that there is someone working day and night just to make students feel safer on campus.
This is not IUSG's only campus safety project. They are also working on other safety measures like ride services and partnering with sexual assault prevention groups on campus.
The Indiana Office of Technology has banned the popular social media app TikTok on state systems and devices. The app is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita has filed 2 separate lawsuits against TikTok back in December. The first was for not regulating inappropriate content for children. The second addresses how protected users' private information is on the app from the Chinese government and Communist Party. IU basketball got a big win against Michigan State over the weekend, and Samantha Condra is here now to tell us all about it and more on the latest IU athletics. Samantha?
Thanks, Emma. It was definitely a huge win the Hoosiers needed. Let's get into more of what happened when the Spartans came to town on Sunday. Trace Jackson Davis continues to show why he should be considered for Big Ten Player of the Year after back-to-back 30-plus point performances. He had 31 points and 15 rebounds against Michigan State and led the Hoosiers to their 3rd straight victory. They're now at 500 in conference play and will travel to a struggling Minnesota team tonight to try and continue their hot streak. Now, Indiana women's basketball has entered their toughest stretch of the season, but you would not know it. The Hoosiers traveled to number 21 Illinois and came away with an 11-point victory. Their next task was traveling to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan, a place that they struggled at last season. Indiana had 6 players score in double digits in this one, though, to help improve to 18-1 on the season, marking the best start in program history. The next daunting matchup is tomorrow at Assembly Hall against the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and this game has a lot of implications on who will walk away with the Big Ten title this season. That's the biggest IU sports news of the week. We'll see if both basketball teams can keep up the win streaks. Back to you all.
Thanks, Samantha, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News. I'm Madisyn Renbarger.
And I'm Emma Herwehe. From Bloomington, Indiana, we'll see you next time.